You are watching the Love and Money Show, and today I have a very special guest. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'd like for you to tell us who you are and what do you do?
All right, cool. My name's Kevin Jennings. I'm a serial entrepreneur, but primarily I work in the government contracting space. So for the past 15 years, I've been doing work for governmental agencies, federal, state, and local. I've had 2 construction companies that I own currently, and I've sold one business a couple years back. And then now, most recently in the past 6 months, I've been coaching and training others into how to get into government contracting. But I got into it in 2008 after the real estate crash and the recession in '08. Yeah, I needed something to kind of create some stable income. And because I was a real estate investor, that's all I had ever done. And so when the market crashed, I needed some way to make money. And so government contracting was something I fell into. And then I just wrote it out. And so ever since then, I've just been working in government contracting. And then, like I said, this year, I was like, you know what, I want to do something a little bit differently, do something a little different. So I started teaching and coaching and just, trying to help others and kind of share my experiences so that people don't have to make the same mistakes that I made. But then also share the good things, because it is a great industry to be in, because it's recession proof. And so that's me.
Okay, well, I'm glad to have you on because people don't know about government contracting.
Yeah, most people don't.
So, Kevin, I'm interested because you mentioned the recession.
Mhm.
You lost everything in the recession, and
Yeah.
they're talking about looming recessions coming right now.
Yeah.
And so, what advice would you give like brand new real estate investors on how they can protect themselves with the recession coming?
Um, so if you're just getting into real estate, right, my advice would be don't be scared and just don't like dump off stuff. Because what happens is people get scared and they just start dumping their assets, right? And they just start selling because they don't know what to do. But then they don't have a plan for the money, right? So real estate is always going to be a safe investment. But just like any investment, it goes up, it goes down. So you got to know when to play it. So if you're just getting into real estate, I wouldn't go and just start dumping properties now and selling stuff if you have no plan for the money, because the value of the dollar is definitely going down every day. So if you turn your money from real estate into hard money, into hard cash, it's going to lose value. So that's one mistake a lot of people make, is they just start dumping. And then the other thing is, if you can pick up assets that you can rent out, whether it be houses, mobile homes, small apartment buildings, those are the things I would tell people to do, is get into rental stuff right now. Don't worry so much about flipping or even the short-term stuff. Right now Airbnb is hot, where it was. Everybody was picking up stuff in Airbnb, and the recession ain't a time for that. You want to get stable tenants, Section 8 possibly if you can, or good middle-class working individuals, tenants, and just ride out the recession with them, because that's the way to go. You want to have your money somewhere safe. That would be my advice.
Okay, so more of a buy and hold type thing, and
Yeah, you definitely want to buy and hold. You want to get out of the whole flip mentality. Like, flipping ain't gonna work, especially if you got into a flip at the wrong money. So like, I currently still flip, but I own my own wholesale company as well. So I pick up all my flips myself. So the stuff that I flip, I'm purchasing it at like 20, 30 cents on the dollar. So I'm still able to sell it, or I will still be able to sell it during this recession, even if values dip by 10 or 15%, because I'm still up. Now, if you go and you're buying properties at 45, 50, 60 cents on the dollar, there's no way you're going to be able to flip it and still make money when the market drops. So fix and flips I would not go that way. I would stick to buy and holds, and then just ride out this wave and then flip them on the other side. Make your money out of them now, and then flip them in 3-4 years.
okay. Kevin, one more question about the recession, because I'm just curious. How do people lose everything in their recession? It's because people are getting laid off, or
Nah, a lot of people just don't understand money. That's the biggest thing. Like, people just don't understand money. And I was one of those people in 2008, 2006, 2007, and early 2008. Like, I just didn't understand money. So when the recession hit, I didn't understand how to leverage money properly. And so I was over leveraged in my real estate, and then I couldn't sustain. So like, if you could sustain and you have enough cash to basically pay your bare minimum bills and make it through, you'll be fine. But the problem is a lot of people can't, they can't, most people can't go 2 or 3 months without making money. So when you have to go like 6 months, like that's it, you're over, you're ruined. And that's how a lot of people lose. And so people got over leveraged, and they have so much debt that they can't maintain it. And then if you go 3 or 4, 5 months without making any money, you're done. And so you just got to understand how money works. But that's why I got into government contracting.
Okay.
Because when I couldn't make money in real estate, I needed a way to still generate revenue. I didn't need to generate the type of revenue I was generating when I was doing real estate, when I was flipping properties, but I needed to be able to generate enough revenue to pay my basic bills. And so the recession taught me about money.
Okay.
Yeah, it taught me the wrong way. Like I wish I could have just read a book, but hey, I had to learn the hard way, I guess.
Okay. I was just curious because the
Yeah.
recession is coming if we're not already in it. And people know about real estate, but not government contracting. So I'm gonna get back to the government contracting. What is your background?
So my background is in engineering and construction. And so when I got out of school, when I got out of college in 2004, I started working in the engineering and construction field. And then that's how I transitioned that's what actually got me into real estate, was construction. And then construction is what got me into government contracting. So I was working on a construction site, and then I got introduced to real estate, to fixing and flipping, by guys that were on a construction site, and they were like flipping properties on the side. And that's how I got into real estate. And then when the market crashed, I got into government contracting because I was still trying to do little construction projects, whether it be like renovations or things like that. And I couldn't really make the money, like I thought I would, because people just weren't doing property projects like that. And so then I started doing work at the VA hospital. I started doing like little stuff for them. Like when doctors would move out of offices, I would go in and paint the office, change the floor tiles, change the ceiling tiles, move the lights around, stuff like that. And then that was my segue into government contracting. So everything with me revolves around construction.
Okay. So you got a background in construction.
Mm-hmm.
So Kevin, what is government contracting?
So the easiest way that I tell people when I break it down is like, I'm essentially a middleman. So the government on every level, whether it be federal, state, or local, they don't produce or manufacture hardly anything. Everything that the government utilizes, they have to purchase. And so what they do is, instead of them going to like Walmart to buy toilet paper, they'll buy toilet paper from me. And I facilitate the transaction between the government and Walmart. So essentially that's what it is on any level. So you can go as high with it as like the movie War Dogs. That's a lot of people's, like, I guess, entry into government contracting, as they watch that movie and they say, oh man, these dudes are selling guns to the army. So it's like, yeah, you could do that. That's the high level. But the lower level is all the way down to toilet paper, paper towels, copy paper, printer ink, like anything that the government needs to operate on a daily basis, they procure in some way, shape, or form. So all we do as government contractors is just basically bridge that gap between the government's need and the people that have it. And then a lot of people say to me, it's like, well, why don't the government just go to Walmart themselves? Or why don't just go to Office Depot and buy the things they need? And so the way we explain that is like, basically, there's two ways that money gets in circulation in this country. They can either print the money and give it to people in the form of like loans and like stimulus stuff like we saw in the pandemic, but they don't really like to do that because there's nothing behind the money, right? So if they just gave everybody in the country just free money, people would just spend the money and it would never circulate. So the other way they get money in circulation is through procurement processes like this. So basically they hire me to do a job, I hire employees, then I pay taxes on the money I make, my employees pay taxes on the money they make, and we're pouring money back into the government, and we keep the cycle going. So in long and short, that's essentially what government contracting is, but it's basically any good or service that's needed, we provide it to the government. And now, like I said, that's on federal, state, and local, across all levels.
Okay. And I'm going to ask a rude question. You don't have to answer it.
Go ahead.
Can you give the people a general idea of how much money you can make in this field?
It's gonna sound crazy, but you can make as much as you want. So there's a young brother who just won one of the largest contracts as a minority last week, actually. He's 39 years old, and he just got a contract for $13.4 billion. So you can make as much. Like, this brother will literally, he became a millionaire off of one contract. So you can make as much as you want, honestly. It sounds crazy when people ask, I'll be like, well, how much money you want to make? Like, if you want to make $1 billion, you could truly make $1 billion. Have I made $1 billion? No, but it's out there for you. Millions are very easily attainable, and hundreds of thousands are even easier to attain. But you can literally make as much or as little as you want to make. It really depends on you as an individual.
So how much have you made? What is your salary? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'd say
I'm kidding, but
I don't mind. I don't care. But like,
okay.
On average, my company's average $5 to $7 million a year. And I've been doing that for the past 14 years consistently. So I tell people I'm probably in overall earnings in my career, probably right around 100 is what I've done. I've had better years. I've had some, $10, $12 million years, but on average, I can do $5 to $7 million a year easily. And I have 2 companies that do that.
I like that you share, because first of all, people don't know what it is. And then second of all, like, how can you aspire to anything if you don't know?
Yeah, no, it's real. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's my job to share, because I think like this whole new wave of CEOs, like we got to give people something to aspire to. Like, when we were growing up, everybody wanted to be rappers and athletes and all of that, but it's like now you can be so much more than that and still make decent money. So it's about being realistic with people and letting them know that you can do other things and you can make decent money. So you can do what I do and you can make good money. You can make just as much money as a rapper or athlete and live a life very similar to what all these other individuals live. And you don't have to do that. You can just be a business person. And so for me, that's why I share, is just to let people know that it's realistic. Because the only stuff that's out there, especially like on social media and all that, is you just see people, living these lives, and it's like, oh, you got to be a rapper, or you got to be a ball player, you got to do this, and then you got the women thinking, oh, I got to be half naked all the time, and I got to be an Instagram model to be successful. It's like, nah, you don't have to be none of that. You can just be a good business person, and you can be very successful, and you can have all those things that those other individuals have. So for me, I enjoy it. I don't mind sharing.
Okay, Kevin. What advice would you give to someone who wants to learn more about this business?
Just jump in it, man. It's a great lane. Like, just don't be scared. Just get into it. Get with somebody, like myself, get a mentor, get someone to help you, show you the ropes, and just learn. Like, the industry is not going anywhere, especially like during this recession. Like, there's going to be so much money to be made in government contracting during the recession, because as the government cuts back on certain services, they still have to maintain a level of service to the public. Like, that's their job. So if they cut back on things because they can't spend unnecessary money doing certain things, they still got to do other stuff. So, get in stuff like this, like, learn about it. Go on the SBA's website, like, learn more about the opportunities that are out there for you in your industry. And just learn as much as you can, and don't be scared, because it's the government. So they're not going to, the beautiful thing about government contracting is that the government can't put you in business to fail. So they have every resource available to you so that you are successful. If you fail, it's because you chose to fail, like you chose not to succeed. But they put every resource out there for you to be successful. And there's no other industry like that. Like every other industry is so privatized, like everybody's trying to just make $1 off of you, so they don't care if you succeed. But with the government, they want you to be successful, and they have all these resources out there at your disposal. And that's one of the things like I do, like on both of my Instagram pages, is I'm constantly pushing all the different stuff out there. So it's not just about going out there and getting work. It's also about being financially, literate, having financial stability as a business owner, understanding insurances, understanding, everything to be a good business owner and a good individual, and then build off of it from there. So I would just say learn, man. Learn as much as you can and get with somebody who can help you.
Okay, Kevin, I am curious about the workload. Like, is this passive or are you working like 60 hours a week or?
It's honestly, it can be anything that you want it to be. So I've ran my business both very actively and passively, and I've had success doing it both ways. It just depends on what type of business owner you are. If you're the type of business owner that likes to work a lot, then you can do this and you can do that. If you are the type of business owner that doesn't like to work a lot, you can also do it. I try to manage people's expectations at both levels. So, for example, like with my companies, we're doing the higher numbers, like 8 figures, 10, 11, $12 million worth of volume. I was more active. So I was working 50, 60, 70 hours a week to maintain, because you got to think like that's a lot. You're talking about bringing in $250,000 a week in revenue. So you have to really, really be pushing to bring in that type of revenue. But like now I run my companies very passively, and that's why I'm around like that $5 million mark. But I literally work about 15 hours a week. So it just depends on the type of individual you are and really what your goals are as a business owner. You can do it both ways, and you can be very successful doing it both ways. It just depends on what you want to put into it. So like for me, now I don't want to put that much into it. So I can work that 10, 15, 20 hours a week and make $5 million, and I'm fine with that. Because then I have my time to go do other things that I'm passionate about. So it really just depends on you.
Okay. Kevin, can you talk a little bit about your mentoring program and what kind of things you learn in there?
Yeah. So I have a couple different programs. Of course, I have my course that's a wealth of knowledge, and basically the course is like A to Z, how to get into the government contract and how to understand it all, and then like what to do. And then for people that want a little bit more, I have my mentorship program. The mentorship program we do on either 6-month or 12-month basis, and it's more personalized. So you still get the course, you get the weekly Zooms that come with the course, you get the Facebook group, you get all that. But then in addition to that, you get bi-weekly one-on-ones where we just take time and really understand your business and help you put together a good structure. And then just basically hold your hand for that 6 or 12 months, whichever you choose, to help you be successful. So the mentorship programs are great. It just depends on where you are in business. I have some people that have businesses fully set up and they're ready to go. They just need that little bit extra push, and they're just basically trying to add the government as a client. They usually do well in the 6-month program, but then I have people that come and they're fresh. They have, it's a brand new business and we build it from scratch. And so the 12-month program works better for them.
Okay, Kevin. So now I'm going to switch over to the love department.
Okay, cool.
This is a love and money show.
All right.
And so, Kevin, are you single or married?
I'm married.
You're married. Okay. Can you tell us one thing you learned about money and relationships that could help somebody else?
Money and relationships. So money can ruin a relationship if the relationship is built on money. So if your relationship is not based on money, then you'll be okay. The problem, once again, with like today's society is a lot of stuff is based on money. So people are getting into relationships based on money. And I think this recession is going to really ruin a lot of relationships, because a lot of people were only together because of money, when in reality, you should be together just because you enjoy the other person's company and time, because the money's going to go or come. And so especially like being an entrepreneur, you get used to being broke, and you got to learn how to be cool with being broke, because it's not permanent, it's a temporary situation. So you got to have a partner who understands, you as an entrepreneur, who understands that the money comes and goes, and you guys just got to be on a certain page at all times, because the money's not going to stay forever. It's going to come, it's going to go. Sometimes you'll have more, sometimes you'll have less. But if you enjoy the company of your partner, then it won't matter. So that would be my advice.
Okay. Pick somebody that wants you for you, not for how much money you have.
Which is hard though, because like nowadays people they just see money, so everybody just want to get with people because of money. And the money's almost like looks, it'll fade. Like if you only with somebody for one reason, then you're gonna have a big problem.
Okay, Kevin. Where could people find you if they want to reach out to you and learn more about government contracting?
Yeah, so on my social media is Kev KUV_J. That's my IG. I think I'm also on Facebook with the same thing. And then the Government Cheese is the brand. So the IG and Facebook for that are GOV_cheese. And then the website is www.thegovernmentcheese.org. And you can get all the info there and just reach out to me. I'm real accessible. People, my team, they get on me because like I answer every DM and I talk to people and do all that just because it's just what I like to do, you know? So please just hit me up if you got questions and we'll figure out how we can put something together to help you be successful.
Okay, Kevin, sounds good. And did you have any last words to leave the audience?
Just get ready for this recession. Just be smart, man. Just be smart. You can make a lot of money on the backside of this if you can plan correctly in the front of it. So just put yourself in a good position to be ready. And that's it. Just be ready.
Okay, be ready.
That's it. Just be ready.
All right, Kevin. Well, thank you for being on the show and sharing your story.
Nah, thank you for having me. I appreciate you.